A skeptic at first, pickleball? Then he played, caught pickle fever, and went all in. The new book is Pickleball Therapy. He's Tony Roig. I'm Mickle Moore. It's the Pickle with Mickle Interview Series 0, start. All right, I am super excited, one, to be back on the court, Pickle with Mickle style, and even more excited to have Tony here joining me today. Folks, Pickleball Therapy is his new book. Tony, how you doing today?
Doing fine, Mickle. I hope you're more excited about being with me than being on a pickleball court, man, because this is way better, man. It's like 7 o'clock Eastern. Let's go. It's pickleball all day, 24/7. It's a pleasure to be with you.
That's it, man. That's the jam. You got to pickle on. You got to keep pickling. I mean, Tony, you do it all. You write books, you podcast. You've got a great website. I was tooling around on there, and it's pretty informative as well. Let's start though. When did you really catch pickle fever?
So I'm a pre-COVID guy. So I'm 2015 playing tennis, USTA league, all that stuff. My lady Jill says, "Hey, we're gonna go play some pickleball." But our mutual friend Charlotte had set it up on a Saturday. At that time in Tampa, there was really only this was like a tennis court with like two pickleball courts on either side, painted. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, this is some
painted lines on.
Sport. Painted lines, man, you know, the real deal. I mean, this is back in, you know, if you know, you know. You know, I mean, we used to play painted lines, temp nets. You were lucky that the net put together, you know, it didn't fall apart. So, you know, it was, I'm thinking to myself, this is some BS thing. But, hey, this is Saturday. We're going to have a good time. We're going to, it's going to the beach, playing Kadima. We're going to have some lunch. It's fine. So I go out there, and I always tell the story that, like, I think it's really important to, like, everybody to be introduced to pickleball, what I think is the right way for them. For me, the right way was a gentleman named Steve Tallner, who was the pickleball tennis and pickleball pro at this facility, this tennis pickleball facility, beat the snot out of me. And I'm like, I was a 4-5 tennis player. So I'm like, what? No, come on. This is not for real. Right. And ever since then, I started going to like the gym and the wood floors, you know, and they had four courts that were so close to each other that you could never ATP, like the nets were like touching, you know, it's like, and it was like, and they lent you paddles. So, and I went to the 2016 US Open and, played in my friend Tom and Tom's about we were like a 1 month apart. So he was picking up the sport. We met at Northdale playing, and so we were like, let's play. And he's like, let's play. Let's just play. Yeah, Tom DiCaprio. Let's play. Okay. Let's play open division. I'm like, sure, let's play open. So we played against Wes Gabrielson and Dan Moore, who at the time were like probably top 3 teams in the world, and they beat the crap out of us. But we were on court 10 in Naples, and the hook was already, I think, pretty well set, but that really just locked it in. And I gave up tennis like shortly after I started playing pickleball. And other than playing with my kids in Orlando, sometimes hitting balls, pickleball, 10 years. Yeah. All in.
Full pickle, drop the racket, all paddle. I love it. Now, do the kids pickle? Kids pickle.
They're tennis. They have their own kind of way of seeing things. I love it because they're getting exercise and they're hanging out with each other. And so I'm a big fan of what they're doing. So whenever I go over there, I have 2 daughters and a son, and we go out there. And so I'm the 4th on their doubles. We go out there and play, and I can serve well enough and hit the ball well enough to hang out. So it's all good.
Awesome. Now, we're very close in orbit. I was looking you up online, or at least I should say my crack research team was. How old are your children?
I have older kids. My daughters are, I want to say 36, and then my son's 32. I'm either 36 or 37. He's either 32 or 33. I always lose track of that. So, all
right, very cool, very cool. All right, now I'm super excited. Got to hear more about this book, but also, Tony, your approach to the game. You know, you're a coach. Now we know you've been doing this for a little while. You've got the energy just right here on the screen, which is awesome. I love it. But, you know, your approach is more than just about shot making. And this game is so much more than shot making. So open the court. Let's, you know, drive me all around here. Let's talk about this book and then again, your approach, and then we'll keep it moving here.
You got it. You know, Mickle, I view, let's get philosophical for a second, right? So like it's about us, man. It's about like each of us is just human beings and traveling through our life in the universe as best we can. Hopefully trying to do some good and enjoy it and all that stuff, right? And you know, live a nice life, right? And pickleball can be a wonderful addition, a wonderful piece of that overall puzzle. And I think the healthier your relationship is with pickleball, healthy but also strong, meaning like the more you that's why I love what I do as a coach, because to me it's all about empowering pickleball players. That's what I want to do. I have nothing but I love facility operators. I love paddle manufacturers. I love ball manufacturers. I love all the pieces, right, that are necessary for this sport. What I view as my lane and the lane for us at Better Pickleball is we're in the knowledge transfer business, right? I want you, Mickle, and I want Ann, and I want Bob, and I want everybody out there to have as full a relationship with the sport as they can possibly have. And that involves knowledge transfer. Part of that is shot hitting, right? Because, we're playing a game where you need to hit a ball. And so the better you hit the ball, the better you're going to feel, right? And all that. Knowing what shot to hit when, I think is great. The strategy piece, right? But I will tell you that, I do a lot of pro analysis. I'm working with some pros now and stuff like that. And basically, and I've been doing this for the last 2 years, roughly, on and off. But even the pros, right? Even the pros are like, I'm not sure what shot to hit in certain situations, even though they're the best in the game. So that's important, but it's not. But the bigger picture thing is, right? It's us and our growth as human beings. And this is where you said open up the court, so I'm going to tie that. I'm going to come back around to it. I view pickleball as a canvas, so like it's like you're painting a painting, right? And so pickleball is this beautiful canvas where you get to improve yourself, right? Part of that is how you play. That's fine, right? I hit great shots. That's great, but why not look at it bigger picture, right? You play pickleball, you're going to feel better physically, right? Because it's good exercise. But the part that I don't think players take enough advantage of is the mental side, meaning I can use pickleball, pickleball is a stressful event. Let's not kid ourselves. And it's by design, right? If you and I are playing Mickle, I played in a tournament yesterday. I haven't played in a tournament forever. I was like a last minute sub for a friend guy got snowed in up north. So he was like, I need somebody. I'm like, all right, I'll come play, but I haven't drilled it forever, but we'll go out and do it. But
Tony
my
lives
job
in Florida,
in that
folks.
match.
So just remember, guy got snowed in up in North Florida.
I wasn't snowed in. Yeah, exactly. But I basically, my job in that game, right, is to try and stress. Actually, Tom DiCaprio was my opponent. Tom DiCaprio and Phil Edwards, two local friends. And so our job was to stress them. What's their job? To stress us, right? And that's okay. That's the game. But you get to learn how to navigate stressors in a game. And it's a beautiful thing if you take advantage of it, right? If you use it as a tool, as a canvas, if you will, for yourself. That's how I view pickleball.
I think that's fantastic. And now with Better Pickleball, when did we start Better Pickleball?
Better Pickleball is actually a post-COVID baby. CJ Johnson, my co-head coach there and co-founder of Better Pickleball, her YouTube channel was called Better Pickleball. It still is.
Okay.
I mean, it's ours now, but it's, and then my channel was Into Pickle. So she had a great idea during COVID, which was at that time, the way she tells the story, she's thinking like, everybody's saying COVID's going to be like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something like that. So she's like, let's put on everybody's off the court. Everybody's, tense. And so she's like, let's put on a summit, right? That we can offer online and players can join from anywhere. So she invited me to be on the summit. I moderated. I was a presenter. And then shortly after that, she and I started chatting about because we're all in our lanes. And so we started talking and then we're like, yeah, let's put on I had already started doing some online training Into Pickle. And she had some ideas from her prior experience. She's actually a PGA golfer too. So she had some other coaching background experiences. So we started talking and then we put together this, which has the pickleball system, the Better Pickleball Academy, all these online pieces, as well as camps that we do. So that was in 2020.
Okay. So about 5 years we've had that, like you mentioned, post-COVID baby. And how did you meet CJ? Had you guys been doing stuff together before?
Just in the summit. So she, like I said, she started that summit. She invited me to be a part of it. I mean, she was aware of my channel. Back then, there weren't as many channels. There was Primetime Pickleball, Pickleball 411, CJ channel, my channel. Mark Rendison was active back then in Third Shot Sports. There's a couple other channels, but not, Deb Harrison was a little more active, whatever, stuff like that. But there was a small group. I'm Pickleball Kitchen with Barrett, right? So there was 6 channels or something like that. And so now there's, I don't know, I lost track, 200.
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely, right? As pickleball goes, so does everybody who wants to come in and talk about pickleball or help people get better at pickleball. Let's open up the book. Having a lot of fun with Tony Roig here. And did I get it right? Was that a hard stop enough on the Roig? I try to do
You
it the way
hit
you
it. You
told me.
hit it. Bam.
Got to nail that
Killed it,
thing,
Mickle.
folks. That's how you do it. And anyway, so let's open up the book. If somebody is either new at pickleball or has been playing pickleball for a long time, what do you hope they're going to take away from reading this book?
To me, so the what's interesting for me, Mickle, I started the podcast and I actually started the podcast in 2020. I think I may have started it before we joined up as Better Pickleball. It was just, and the first few episodes I say this, I'm pretty open about it, where basically I'm like, I hope it helps you. I'm happy to share, but this is for me. Like, this is my journey, and I'm just talking through stuff with you guys. And in fact, sometimes in the episodes you hear me like kind of like develop ideas as I go, and this is fine. So I started the podcast in 2020, and then, the book's kind of been a project, obviously, over a series of months and years. Article here, a blog post there, an idea that comes up in the podcast, whatever, noted and things. But as I started writing the book, I actually realized that there are 3 spheres, if you will, of the mental part of sports. This book is actually book 1 in that series, and this one has to do with perspective. So what I hope that a player takes away, regardless of where they're at in the sport, is that they start to look at the game differently from a big picture standpoint. And I got to give a shout out here to my mentor in this area, which is Coach Peter Scales. I read his book, Mental and Emotional Training for Tennis, but you can drop the for tennis. It applies to any sport, but certainly any sport like ours where you're playing in this like in tennis, we're very similar to tennis in terms of how we get on the court.
Right.
And his trilogy is called Compete, Learn, Honor. He developed, and he talks a lot about honoring the game, honoring our opponents, competing but not losing your mind, learning every time, those kind of things. So I think perspective is so powerful, and that's what this book is about. It's about ourselves, the sport we play, and then our place within that sport and the other actors in the sport, putting it all together, laying it out. So that's the nature of this book.
That's fantastic. And the book's called Pickleball Therapy. You can go to the website. I've got the website up, betterpickleball.com. You can order it there, folks. Where else can they find the book real quick?
Amazon.com. Amazon got everything. So Amazon got the book, and
Perfect. So there you go, folks. Easy for you to get this book. Now let's continue to talk about this game itself. You started playing pre-COVID. We've seen the change in paddle technology, only going to continue to change. We've seen new pickle shoes come out. And it's funny. Let me pause real quick because you mentioned your partner, CJ, former golf instructor. Tony, I parallel pickleball and golf so often on my show because look at where we've come with pickleball, right? You head out to the rec court with your buddies. We've got how many different paddles in our bag? We got some shirt on. We got the shoes. Probably got the pickle hat on, right? Plus the mental aspect of pickleball. And just like if you're a weekend hacker on the golf course, heaven forbid you watch a pickleball tournament on TV, you're going to think you're walking on the court and doing everything you see, just like when you watch the pros on TV playing golf. So I think it's so great. But anyway, circling back to what I was talking about, the advancements in technology, you've seen a lot. How do we think, what would you identify in just the last 3 years as the biggest changes in the game, whether from a technology, from the court approach? You tell me.
It has to be the paddles, Mickle. I mean, ball technology has changed a little bit, but not too much. I mean, like we used to have the Dura 40 was a pretty fast ball. It moved a lot. I mean, it had a lot of pace to it. The Lifetime balls, it's a little bit meatier, but still has a lot of pop like the old Duras had. To me, it's the paddles, and frankly, I'm in the camp of I would like to see paddles dialed back 10 to 15% is kind of ballpark where I'm at in terms of pop. And then I still think the pros will be able to have nice games and generate interesting rallies for TV. I listen, pickleball is to me primarily a sport to play. There's other sports that are sports to watch. I would say even like tennis right now at the highest levels is, you have players who people who maybe like play tennis once in a while, whatever, but they might still tune into like an Australian or follow something like that because it's gotten so big. But pickleball is primarily a play sport to me. And I worry about the 60-year-old person who is looking for something in their life that'll enrich their lives. Pickleball has provided that for thousands and thousands of persons, right? And so for them to go out to the pickleball court and all of a sudden get blown off the court because someone is just smashing balls at them
Right.
because of the paddle, I don't believe that's good for our sport. I don't believe that's good for the players who might be able to benefit from this sport. So to me, I wish we would dial it back 10 to 15% and then lock it in. You know, you have to have a phase out and all that stuff, but that's what I would hope. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not sure. I do think that there's a certain amount of, I've toyed around with like writing a letter to manufacturers, like an open letter, publishing and stuff like that, where basically the idea is, are you playing a long game or a short game as a manufacturer? You know, on the short game, I get it, right? You want to sell a lot of paddles next quarter, come out with the next whatever. I remember when Diadem did the Vice paddle with the holes. I mean, which is crazy but it sold like hotcakes. So credit to them for marketing it and doing a good job by saying this is illegal. You know, good luck. But you know what I mean? But that to me, that's a short game, because that, like, okay, you're going to sell a lot this quarter, next quarter, but now you're going to close the pipeline for players who might come in, you know, as opposed to playing a long game and then maybe, you know, compete within a range of paddles that you can try and have better this and better that, but not just, okay, we're going to have a boomstick or something, not to pick on Selkirk, they're a fine company, but you know what I mean? We're going to do a paddle that's like, we're going to knock people off the court.
That's the next thing, right? What's got the next big pop, right? And we don't need to call out paddles or any other, you know, companies in general. That's what they're doing, right? I mean, a new paddle seems to drop every other month, and it's got the next level of this or that. You know, I can see exactly where you're coming from.
It's an arms race.
And I don't think it's an arms race idea.
To like.
Yeah, because we don't want to see pickle injuries. We already know how many pickle injuries have occurred for people who just want to hop out there and again think this is some simple game to play. And like I always say, you better stretch, you better stay hydrated, even if you're going out there just to have some fun. And there's plenty of competitive outlets, as we know, for people of all skill levels, but you got to take this for real or you're going to turn an ankle, or you might pull a hammy because you're moving around. You're moving around laterally. You're moving around vertically. You're bending down. Folks, this game is a great workout for distinguished people, getting even a little more distinguished, the young people. And that's my next question. What do you think of this youth movement, Tony, in pickleball?
I think it's awesome for the sport, right? I mean, I think, you know, we're seeing some of that even percolate up to the top levels, right? You have Cam Chafin, you have, I always forget his name, like Shinamop Kuru, you have a Hendershot on the female side. I mean, you have these, you know, 14-year-olds coming up playing an amazing game. They're changing the game at the high level, meaning like the kind of strategies they're bringing, you know, to watch Chris Hayworth play in Cam Chafin in singles, and Cam, 14-year-old, taking arguably the best singles player right now. Even though I know he lost in the finals, but arguably the best day in and day out singles player, take him to 3 and almost win it by like half an inch. It's crazy, you know? So I love it. I love, you know, here locally, I know in my area in Tampa, a lot of college players are playing it. You know, you go to some courts and they're basically just, you know, 18 to 25-year-olds really dominate those courts, which is fantastic, you know? So it's a beautiful sport for all ages. And I think for the longevity of the sport, I think it's awesome to have those players. I don't want to forget about the 60-year-old entry level player, because I think it's so valuable to that group as well as a third space. But yeah, I love to see the youth coming in.
I do too. And I think the entry to the sport, as you mentioned, for that distinguished player, 50 plus 60, has always been there. And I think it's great to see this opening up and let's just say the kids taking to it. You know, right out here in the Valley, the high school movement is awesome to see. You talked about it. We're seeing this start to develop in colleges. And I've talked about this before and love to get your take on it. We're in a unique time in college sports with all this NIL, right? We'll just leave it at that. A lot of players in college in the Pickleverse are already sponsored. And so keeping this as more of a club level, doing what they're doing, I think can make it unique as a college sport, not necessarily NCAA, because they can have some pretty cool pickle clubs, high level, they already do, and kind of doing it their own way.
Yeah, I think whatever way works best for the colleges. I know what's interesting to me is that you have a lot like this. I think it was at Utah Tech is one of the top colleges. I mean, you have these like smaller colleges that, you know, it's a way for them to, you know, develop an area of their athletic department that can be successful. You know, fairly small budget if you think about it. You know, you need maybe 10 players or something like that, you know, and so it's a really good way for them to kind of get on the map athletically, right? Get some recruits in and things like that, or get some players that, some students that want to be student athletes. But yeah, I got to see the college. I can't remember which one of the groups it was, but one of the college things that happened during the Worlds, right? During the PPA
Okay.
Worlds, and
Yeah.
it was amazing. I mean, the competition, the level of play, the camaraderie, it was really good.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Now back to equipment. What paddle do you swing these days?
I'm playing with the Paddle Tech. I like the 14 millimeter one. I think it's a really nice blend of power and control. I have hit with a few of the newer technology paddles. To me, they're fun. I mean, there's, smack the crap out of the ball, but I like more of a balanced paddle. And I think the 14, Paddle Tech was kind of behind the 8 ball for a minute, right? They were like, everybody was making paddles and they were stuck, with the old technology. But I really think they hit it well with the 14. I use that right now, the GTOC shape. They're all the same paddle, just different shapes, right? But the GTOC feels more like a tennis racket to me. So actually, I let a friend of mine use it. He's a 5.0. He's also a 5.0 tennis player. So he's a really good tennis player and a 5.0 pickleball player. And he was hitting with another paddle, and I just gave him one of mine to hit. And he was like, "Oh, this feels like a tennis racket." I go, "Yeah, that's why I like it, because it swings like one." Anyway, that's what I'm hitting with.
That's awesome. When you're not playing pickleball, how you staying busy, or is it you're all pickle all the time?
I am pickle all the time. I'm full-time pickleball professional, coaching. Sometimes when I go to the event, sometimes I commentate. We do some social media for the PPA. Do some, some other coaching on the side. So I love pickleball, man. I can't ever exhaust pickleball. If not, I'm watching maybe like a series like Expanse, or hanging out with the dogs, or visiting the grandkids in Orlando, something like that.
Don't spoil me. Don't tease me with what series you're watching. I got you coming right down here. Hang on for me. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm a big fan of team pickleball. You mentioned before, getting people to engage in pickleball on TV. You mentioned, hey, even a casual sports fan, when a French Open, a Wimbledon, an Australian, a US Open is on, might flick over, tune in for a little bit, might even have it on in the background. With pickleball, I think if they're trying to attract more eyes to the streams and the screens, the team game, I think, is a great way to do it. We love getting behind teams. I think MLP is great. We're seeing a lot of team circuits develop and build up. What say you?
So I'll address it. I actually think that that has been a missing element of our sport from a play standpoint. Actually, I found it here in Tampa, like, it's got to be 7 years ago now, but this thing called the Florida Pickleball League, where we played just like USTA. So we played, 6-player lines. It was a lot of fun. In terms of viewership, I would agree with you. I think maybe the thing that needs to happen is more player buy-in. Now, how you have that happen, I'm not sure, right? That it's a business for them, and no shade on any player, guys. It is what it is. There's business interests on the MLP and PPA side, business interests on the player side for themselves. So no problem. But like, if you wanted to make it more, I think you would have to make it so like they're all in on the MLP side, and I do think there could be some interesting storylines there. I was actually surprised they went away from rally scoring. I understand like the idea of, maybe we'll get more viewership because they'll understand the scoring better. But I think one of the things that made MLP so exciting was rally scoring.
Absolutely.
So I actually thought we were heading towards rally scoring as a sport for a minute there. I was like, oh, okay. I started playing. At first I was kind of like, I'm not sure. I started playing and I'm like, I like this better. And today we played a rally scoring game. So
rally scoring, every shot counts, right? I mean,
well, the funny thing is this: every shot counts in the other game too. Even though scoring, even though like you don't lose a point when you miss a third shot, but you lose an opportunity. And so what rally scoring does, like if you wanted to say like, what can I do to figure out what I'm missing in my play rally scoring? Because rally scoring, it'll be like right in front of you. You missed a third, you lost a
3-point swing.
Whereas in yep, absolutely. So.
I mean, it's very easy to find yourself get down 3-5 points quick in rally scoring if you're not careful. Having a lot of fun. Tony Roig joining me here on the show, Pickle with Mickle. We are talking pickleball. We're talking the new book, Pickleball Therapy. And now, Tony, you're down there in Florida, South Florida, correct? Are you in the Naples area? Is that right?
Tampa.
Sorry about that. Ooh,
no
I got some good friends
man.
down there in Tampa. And so it's a great area down there. It's a hotbed of pickleball. And so, you teased out that sometimes you might watch a little TV here. And I appreciate everything. We've been talking about the book, the game itself. Now, I'm obligated just because it's me, and I have to ask you your thoughts. Olympic pickleball, how soon?
Well, I mean, I haven't kept up with the latest on that. You know, one of the challenges, Mickle, for anything like this, and I think it's not like particular to pickleball. It's just human nature, you know what I mean? Where you have like different people with different ideas, you know, and
Different
perhaps, you know,
ideologies,
everybody's
we
op
might say.
maybe, but they have like everybody's, you know, and I'm not, you know, they may very well be correct, right? I mean, the one or the other, you know, and maybe everybody's operating from a good frame. But when you have multiple, you know, national associations in some places, when you have it retards the progress of the sport in terms of becoming an Olympic event. I imagine we didn't make it for the next one, so like that what makes the most sense is obviously whenever it's hosted in the US, because then it can be that like the guest, not the guest sport, but the one that the host country can just say it's like a spectator sport or something they call it. So you try it out
Yeah.
and then see how it works. But you know, if it's not in the US, then it'd have to be another country that is invested in pickleball and likes pickleball a lot to do it. Maybe in Asia, I don't know, you know. So I'm not sure. It's just that's difficult
It
because
could
of
be.
the politics of it. But eventually, I mean, it definitely should be an Olympic sport. If curling can be an Olympic sport, we should be
It
able to be an Olympic
currently
sport.
could. You know,
Nothing
you
against
you hit
curling.
the nail on the head, and I appreciate you taking some time to answer that because we've got a few different, let's just call them associations, federations, if you will, that want to be the one to represent to the IOC pickleball, and they need to come together and just make one, and that way it can get done because we're playing it all over the world, and that's a great segue into international worldwide expansion of this game. It's incredible. Have you been anywhere else outside of the United States that you can talk to some of this pickle play outside of the country?
Yeah, I actually got the opportunity to play the English Open and the French Open. This is pre-COVID. Played the English Open in Nottingham, and then what's cool over there is like, and I always tell players, I'm like, if you want to go to Europe and play pickleball, find out when their tournaments are because they make them back-to-back weekends. So like, and they have like these local players. I met a Finnish player, Italian player, all you know, a bunch of players, and they basically travel from like tournament to tournament. So it's like every weekend has one. So we played the English Open one week and the French Open the next week. And then everyone's like, "Are you going to the Italian Open next week?" And I got to fly home, man, so I can't stick around that long. But that was really cool. I will tell you, I mean, I think the difficulty in like Europe is going to be just facilities. You know, I mean, they're much more. They're denser areas, right? So it's like imagine like you're going to put pickleball courts in Paris. Where? I mean, where are you going to where are you going to put those in? You know, I mean, it's difficult. Like we played in southern France in like the mountains because they had a tennis facility that was big enough to put, and there were just I think they taped a few of them, and so we played there. I mean, I know now they have some more permanent stuff, but I haven't been there in a minute. But like to me, the most natural place for this thing to go, nuclear, and it's already happening some, I guess, but like Asia has to be the place because you think about like. It's familiar, like badminton, small court, you can play it. I mean, I've seen it played in India on just outdoor tile or on like dirt that's packed, and you can play it
Yeah.
almost anywhere. So to me, it makes the most sense to me that Asia will be the center of pickleball. I don't know if it's in a decade or 2 decades or something like that, but I can see if they percolate it out there, they're going to be bigger than us, in terms of who plays pickleball.
Sure, sheer population numbers would dictate that for itself. And we're already seeing a number of players from that side of the world playing and playing really well as all. And so,
Yeah.
hey, this game is great. The Pickleverse continues to expand. And again, I really appreciate you making some time for me today. Give you another chance. You want to plug the book, give some more ideas of your own personal pickle philosophy before I get you up to the kitchen line for some speed 'em ups.
You got it. So basically, what I would suggest is I think the book is a great investment. You can read the reviews yourself. There's like 50 of them on there. They're pretty. They're. What's interesting, I kept on asking because obviously, I know some of these players as students and everything else. So I'm like, hey guys, if you got a minute, can you review it because it helps other players. And then I realized what was happening was they wanted to really write a review. So like the reviews are like, they're meaty because they wanted to share their experience, which is cool.
You did a
So
whole
now
new
the
chapter.
reviews you can. Yeah, you can go in there and see what's up. If you're not sure you want to get the book, check out our podcast, Pickleball Therapy. It drops every Friday. There's already like 300 episodes, so you can go back and listen to a bunch if you want to. If you want to come to a camp, we do a lot of coaching. Our stuff works. We have the pickleball system. We have the 3 pillars of pickleball. We actually have curriculum, Mickle, which I think I'm not trying to shade throw shade on other pros. There are other coaches out there that are very good coaches, and they have a very good curriculum. But there are also coaches out there who just, kind of half coach, if you will, just kind of like do it, but don't really have a set curriculum. And to me, that can be a very dangerous thing for a player if you really want to learn how to play. And I see a lot of players get stuck, unfortunately. But anyway, so happy to do that. BetterPickleball.com is the best place to find that stuff. In terms of my philosophy about pickleball, just understand that pickleball is an important part of your life, and it should be. But don't forget that there's other actors inside this ecosystem, and that, don't let your journey trample on somebody else's journey the same way that I hope their journey doesn't trample on your journey as a player. So hopefully that helps avoid some trampling.
Yeah, no, well said. And folks, get out there, get to the website, betterpickleball.com, order the book, Pickleball Therapy. Of course, you can get it on Amazon too, right? Order some new pickleballs, get the book, get out on the court, apply what you read to the court. All right. This is the time of the show now, Tony, that I call my speed 'em ups. So are you going to be ready?
I'm always ready, Mickle. If it's pickleball, let's go. A life too, whatever you want.
Well, these are speed 'em ups. These are about all things and everything. And so I'm going to hit you first with an easy one. Okay. We'll just start you off with a softball. You went to the University of Florida, correct?
Correct.
Gators playoff next year.
CFP? Probably not.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
Go Patriots.
Have you ever had an animal encounter?
What does that mean? Like out in
You
the
live
wild?
Florida,
Yeah,
man. There's a lot of animals down there. You come across a gator or a big python that
I've
are slithering around down
a
there?
lot. I've seen squirrel monkeys in the wild. I've seen all kinds of cool stuff in the South. Yes.
But never like an encounter that you would, regale us from a tale. Okay.
Nothing. I mean, no, I've never been like an alligator chasing me down off a pond or something. No, nothing that comes to mind like that. No.
High school celebrity.
I was snorkeling in the Keys, and I saw a black tip shark under me, and I was like, I got the hell out of the water. I was like, no,
that's an animal
I got my kids. I'm
encounter,
like,
Tony. That's perfect.
Well, I had to remember it. That was 30 years ago. I was like, we're leaving. Everybody on the boat,
Block that one out.
Yeah.
All right. High school celebrity crush.
Probably, I don't remember her name, but she was like probably one of the aerobics people from back in the day, with the leggings stuff. I'm an old guy, so I was from the aerobics time.
I got you there. That's fine. I mean, people can visualize. No worries. First car you had?
1947 Jeep Willys Jeep.
Ooh, what color was that?
The original, the olive. It was awesome.
Yeah, my brother.
I gave it to my brother. I gave it to my brother. He painted it by hand. I was like, what?
All right. You mentioned earlier sometimes you might binge a series. What's the last series you binged?
Expanse. Highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. On Amazon. Amazing.
Go-to junk food.
Well, I don't consider it junk food, but I'm going to throw it in there. I love me some chicken wings. When I get chicken wings on the mind, I'm hitting the chicken wings.
Flats or drums?
I'll eat them all and spicy as I can make them. They always look at me like, you want them that spicy? I'm like, just whatever you got, man. Just put it on there. I'll be fine.
Ranch or blue cheese? Always
blue cheese, man. But if I get it, blue cheese always.
Yes, that's the right answer. That's a perfect answer. Can you remember your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Yes. Do you want the answer? The answer is yes or no. I got you. It's Mazinger Z. Nobody's heard of that here. I saw it. I grew up in Venezuela. It's an amazing, it's a robot thing. It was awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice pull. If you could have a superpower for one day, what would it be?
Create more superpowers.
First person to answer that way. I like it. All right. I'm going to get you out of here with this one. This is my version of Who's Coming to Dinner. It's Who's Coming to Pickle. So you're out there, 3 other people on the court with you. And this could be anybody from, the sports world, entertainment. It's Who's Coming to Pickle with you.
For pickleball fourth. Wow. That's a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of people come to mind.
Name 3.
That's a tough one, man. But I mean, there's some people like I probably want to meet and talk.
You can assume they can play pickleball,
right,
so you're gonna have a nice time.
Alan Watts.
Okay. There's one.
Oh, you want 3 others? Oh shit. Okay, I thought it was 3. Okay, Alan Watts. Let's go with. I'm gonna kind of like this is kind of like a cheese one, but I actually read not cheese, but it's like a one that like Abraham Lincoln. But I actually have read a lot about the Civil War, and I'd love to like understand like what he went through with that stuff. And
And you
then
take
I'm
that
gonna
height at the kitchen line.
say, yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'd really like to talk to. I'd really like to talk to Harriet Tubman. I'd like to know like what was that period of history like direct from her? Like what happened? You know, like what happened to you as a human being, right? As a woman, as an
Yeah.
African American or black person, right? And all that stuff. I mean, and I think it would be very interesting to have a conversation with her. So.
Well, there you have it right there. That's a good group to have. I mean, she'll tell you all about it and then backhand flick it right off the court. You better watch out.
Yeah. She'll be like, that lane is closed, young man. What are you doing there? I'll be like,
Super fun. Really appreciate Tony Roig making some time to join me here on the court. Pickle with Mickle. Tony, any last plugs before I let you go? Thanks again for making some time.
no, I think we've hit them all. Mickle, I really appreciate what you're doing to promote the sport, to allow folks like me and your other guests to share about themselves with your community. And if anybody out there wants to improve as a pickleball player, that's what I love doing.
That's what you need to do, folks. Get to the website, betterpickleball.com. Get you a copy of the book, Pickleball Therapy. Tony, thanks again so much.
Thanks, Pickle.